Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Delaney, and for today's video we're going to be doing another collection declutter video, and this time we're going to be doing blushes. Now this is a huge category of mine, not quite as big as my eyeshadow palettes, or it's about the same as my highlighter video. So if you've seen my highlighter declutter video, I will pop that in the corner. Go watch that if you're interested in seeing other categories, but the blush collection is pretty large. So I'm going to try to speed through this, but we're going to go through all of my blushes in my collection that are not part of my face palettes, and we're going to declutter along the way because I definitely see some that I could absolutely live without. So if you're interested in seeing my blush declutter and collection video, then keep on watching. So jumping in, we're going to start out with the drugstore makeup, and I'm going to save the cream blushes for the end of the video because I love those the most, and I don't know if I'm going to be decluttering any of those, but I'll go through it. So, starting off with the drugstore brands, I'm going to go with e.l.f. first. So I have two different formulas of e.l.f. blushes right here. So I have the face palettes, which have a blush and a highlight, and I also have the primer infused blush. Now, these formulas are different, but they are the same brand, so I wanted to lump them together. This face palette is in the shade Watermelon, and then this one is in the shade Coconut. Now, I don't ever touch this. It says it's a blush, but it's more of a bronzer on my skin tone, and the highlight is not really my favorite. Now, you did probably see these in my highlighter collection video, but I just want to go ahead and swatch for you. So it's not that they're not pigmented, it's just that they're not my favorite formula. They're a little bit on the dry side. It is sparkly though, I like that, but it's very dry and just comes off kind of as glitter on my cheeks. And then this one as a bronzer, I do not like. And as a blush, it's just too deep for my skin tone. So I will be decluttering this one. Now the one in Watermelon, this one I do get a little bit more use out of. And here's what the shades look like. This one doesn't come off as overly pigmented right away, but I promise it does actually show up on your cheek. And then this one is more of a highlight, but it's also kind of a blush topper. I can kind of use this on top of this one to make a more healthy, glowy blush. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep this one. I actually do enjoy this one. It's not my favorite blush formula of all time, but it's still pretty good. Now, this one I haven't gotten as much use out of. This one I got from TJ Maxx. This is the Primer Infused Shimmer Blush in the shade Always Silly. I want to use this a couple more times before I decide. It actually feels really nice and finely milled. I just want to test it out on the face a little bit more. It has a lot more pigmentation than the face palettes, but the bite-sized palettes are also cheaper. So I think I'm going to keep this and get a little bit more use out of it before I decide if I want to declutter it. Because, to be honest, I haven't really been able to form my opinion yet because I haven't been able to use it. All right, next up from the drugstore is LA Colors. This one I actually got from the Dollar Tree, and I actually like it. I was kind of surprised by that. It was $1, and it has this shimmer overspray, which I'm not the biggest fan of. See, as I kind of rub it, you can see the glitter kind of go away a little bit. And the glitter in here is really chunky, so obviously you can see it on my finger. But when you actually apply this with a brush, you can knock off the glitter and it doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna swatch it right next to here. It's not the most pigmented thing in the world, but for $1, I actually enjoy this. So I wanna keep this in my collection because it is something from the Dollar Tree that I did get a lot of use out of. Next up from the drugstore, we have two from, how did I already get this dirty? I guess blushes are just very, very dirty. Next up are two from Essence. Now these, I am just gonna go ahead and say I'm keeping both of these. I really enjoy the Essence formula for blushes. This one is just a matte blush, but it has a lot of pigment in it for not a lot of money. And I'm gonna swatch this one right here. This one's kind of a deeper mauvey pink, and I actually enjoy that. Swatches of blushes are a little hard because a lot of times they're buildable, so they're not going to give you the most pigmented swatch right off the bat, but this one is in shade Befitting. I really enjoy this shade a lot. I'm going to keep that one. And then this one is the Mosaic blush, And it says it's in the shade All You Need Is Pink. And this is supposed to be a dupe for the Dior blush. That's that bright rosy pink one. I'll pop up on the screen. That's viral on TikTok right now. I don't own the Dior one, so I can't really attest to that, but this one is an absolutely beautiful blush as well. It's a very rosy pink. As you can tell, it's not the most really like right off the bat pigmented, but it does give you that bright pop of pink on your cheeks. And I really do enjoy the formula. If I ever do get to try that Dior blush, I will let you know if this is actually a dupe. But for now, I'm keeping both of these anyway because I like the formula of both. Another one from the drugstore, we have Found Beauty, which I had never actually heard of before. This one was at Walmart, I believe. This is in the shade Pink Glow. It's supposed to be a very natural beauty brand, and I don't know about the whole natural beauty, clean beauty thing. A lot of the times it's just marketing, but as far as the formula goes, I actually do enjoy this. This is very, very pigmented right off the bat, so be careful with this one. This is a baked blush formula, and it has this kind of marbled effect, kind of like the Hourglass ones. This is a beautiful blush, but this is very, very pigmented, and it's also got a little bit of a sheen to it. So this is not a fully matte blush. Just by swatching it, you can't really tell how pigmented it is, but you can see the sheen in it. It's almost like a highlighter, but not quite. It definitely will give you that healthy glow, which I do like in a blush, but I need to take this with a very fluffy brush and knock some excess off and very lightly go in, because this will build really fast. And it's very, very, very pink. So be careful with it, but if you apply it correctly, this can be one of the most beautiful blushes that I have, at least from the drugstore, but it does actually compare to some of my luxury ones in appearance on the face. So I'm gonna keep this one. And this is the only item I have from Found Beauty, so I would definitely want to try some more from them. Next up is Milani. This is the Rose Blush. This is in Romantic Rose. This one, I don't know about. I like it, but now that my collection has grown, I'm not 100% sure if I love it. I'm gonna have to use this a little bit more often. You can definitely see it's a little bit more on the nude pink side, and I like the shade. I just need to get more use out of it. I think it's just been pushed to the side in my collection because my collection has gotten so big recently. So I honestly can't remember if I really loved the formula or not, or if I just liked it because my collection was small at the time and I didn't have much to compare it to. So I'm gonna keep this for now, but I'm gonna get more use out of it and see what to do with it later. But for now, this will be staying in my collection. All right, this is from Ulta Beauty's brand, and this is technically drugstore, so I'll include it now. This is a blush duo, and I got this in the advent calendar. The formula is not bad, actually. It's actually pretty pigmented for blushes, especially this peach shade. But the pink one barely shows up even on my skin. I just never reach into this, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter it. The perfect way to round out our drugstore powder blushes is with ColourPop. So I have two pressed blushes from them, and I have the shade Interstellar, and I forget which collection this was from. Honestly, they all kind of run together. Beautiful packaging though, I really do like this. This is what the shade looks like. It's a beautiful color, and actually I got a lot of use out of it. It did start getting these little bumps in it though, and I'm not sure what that is, but I think it just can be kind of scratched away. So it's not the biggest deal in the world, but the color is beautiful. It's very pigmented. It gives a nice healthy glow. It's not completely 100% matte, and I love the shade. So I'm keeping this one. And then this one is in Desert Rose. This is from their Succulent collection. I love succulents, so I had to get it. This one actually does have shimmer in it, and you can visibly see the glitter in here. This is a very peachier toned blush, but again, it is pretty pigmented right off the bat. So this is a peachier blush that I actually really enjoy because it's kind of a mid to, like, kind of if peach and pink had a baby. So, and I like the healthy glow and the glitter you get from it. You don't see the glitter actually in the swatch, and you don't see it on the face either. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep both of these because I love their formula of blush, and the packaging is really cute. yeah, I'm gonna keep both. We are done with the drugstore powder blushes. Now let's move on. I cleaned off my swatching hand here. So let's go into some more high-end powder blushes. We're gonna start off with Bare Minerals. This is their Bounce and Blur in Pink Sky. And I love this blush. I know you're probably gonna hear me say that a lot, but this is such a nice formula. This is a kind of like a almost hybrid between a cream and a powder, but it's super pigmented. It has a lot of life to it. It has a good sheen to it. I like that I don't need too much of it, but it just blends beautifully on my skin and gives me such a nice, healthy glow. I love this blush, so I am absolutely 100% keeping this. This blush here is a mini. This is from Merle Norman. It's in Mauve Magic, and it's a lasting cheek color. This was kind of a deluxe sample that I had gotten from them. It has a nice formula, and I like the color to it. I don't use it as much, but I don't know. I like having it because it's Merle Norman, but at the same time, I don't reach into it super often. I think I'm gonna keep it for now and try to get a little more use out of it and then decide, because I do like this mauve-y color. It is a little bit more on the unique side in my collection, but yeah, I'm gonna keep this for now, but this is a maybe. Next up is another deluxe sample. This is from Ciate London, and this is in Matchmaker. I love the pink packaging. I think it's very cute. I think one of my friends got this in an Ipsy or something, and then she passed it on to me to try out. It definitely has a lot of shine and glitter to it, but almost too much glitter. To be honest, I haven't really used it. I do like the way it looks though. I don't know. I kind of want to keep it and use it more, but I don't think I will. So I'm gonna just pass this along, but it's perfectly fine. I'm just gonna donate this to someone else. This one right here is from Tarte. This is also a deluxe sample. This is in shade Idol. This is one of their Amazonian Clay 12-hour blushes. And I don't see what the hype is around this. This used to be something that's super popular. This is almost more of a highlight to me. It's kind of a blush topper, and it's not bad, but I just don't see the use in it really. It's just, I guess the only thing is it can make a matte blush kind of more luminous, but in my opinion, I can do that with any highlighter, so I'm gonna go ahead and donate this and declutter it. Keeping with the theme of minis, I have a ton from Benefit. So yeah, I have a ton from Benefit. These are minis. One came in different packaging just because it was in a different set. But I have two of the Dandelion blushes. I have one of the Rocketeur and one of the California, two of the Gold Rush, and one Dream Rush. So I'm gonna go through each one. I definitely don't need two of each, so one is gonna be decluttered. I'm not sure which is gonna be decluttered yet, but let's go through. So the Gold Rush, I actually really like the Gold Rush. Is it just me, or do they look a little different? Maybe I'm crazy. But this one looks a hair brighter than this one. I don't know. That's so strange to me. I'm going to swatch both of them to make sure. Okay, so that's one of the Gold Rush. Okay, so this one seems to swatch a little bit better, so I'm going to keep this one. I don't really know why that is. I don't know if this one's older and just didn't make it to a declutter, but it's still usable. I'm just gonna find a new home for it. I use this blush as kind of something that mixes my highlight with my blush. It does have a nice luminosity to it, but it's almost matte. It's a perfect in-between, so I'm definitely gonna keep one of these. Up next is California. This is a bright corally pink. I don't use this very often, but I do like having the option for it. It's very intense and very pretty. So I'm gonna keep this just in case I want a little peachy blush moment, because that's really cute for the summertime. I will say these are heavily scented. I don't know what it is with Benefit Cosmetics and putting scents in their powder products, but I do not like the scent at all. I wish that it was unscented, but the formula I do enjoy. So obviously I wouldn't be keeping it if I didn't like the formula, but just wanted to throw that out there for anyone who is sensitive to scents or perfumes in products. This is the Rockateur blush, and it is so creamy and smooth. I don't know what it is about this particular blush that's way more creamy than the others, but ooh, I really like that. I forgot how much I like this. It's definitely not just matte. It has a little bit of life to it, so I'm 100% gonna keep that. I don't prefer 100% matte blushes. That's just not my style. So I do like that these have a little sheen, but just keep that in mind if you are not into that. This is in Dream Rush. This one has barely any pigment, and I think it's really close to the Gold Rush. I think I like the Gold Rush better, so I'm also gonna declutter this one. Okay, Dandelion is one that I've used a ton. I think it was this one that I hit pan on. Oh, can't open it. This one's harder to open. There we go. There it is. You can see the pan, that little sliver of silver in the bottom. I've used this so much. I actually really enjoy this blush, and I'm gonna keep one of them. This is the bright pink one. As you can see, it's a little bit similar to the Ciate London one, so I could definitely keep that. The Ciate one just had more of a shine to it. So yeah, I'm keeping this. But I love this formula. I might actually keep both because I hit pan on this one. So having a backup is nice, especially because they're minis. I'm gonna go through it a little quicker. So you know what, I'm gonna keep both of these. It's not something I normally would do, but it's my collection, so I can do what I want. Next up is a blush from Ofra Cosmetics. They are under a little bit of a hot water right now, but I'm not gonna really go into that. Okay, this is in shade Winter Rose Glow. This came in one of their mystery bags. I actually really like this blush. As you can see, I actually use it a lot, especially in the winter time. Like it says, it's a Winter Rose Glow. I don't know why this just screams winter to me, but I really do enjoy it. It's one of my deeper blushes in my collection, and I don't normally go for something this deep, but it actually ends up looking really nice on the cheeks. So I think I'm gonna keep this for now. I'm not sure what's going on with Ofra Cosmetics right now, but I'll keep it for now. And we will reevaluate later with more information. Up next is from Lancome. This is their Le Monochromatique in Haute Couture. I don't know how you pronounce that, but I actually got this from Influenster. This was my first Influencer Vox box. It came with this and some skincare items and a mascara. This is very pigmented. I just never get use out of it. Wow, it's super pigmented though. I may actually try it again on my cheeks because I've started to dabble a little bit more into red blush, but the formula is beautiful. And on the eyes, it looks gorgeous as a shimmer shade. I'm gonna keep it. I'm just gonna play around with it a little bit more, but maybe if I had this in a different shade, I would get more use out of it, but I'm kind of on the fence. This is a maybe. I'm just gonna get a little bit more use out of it first. This has such a special place in my heart. This is from MAC. This is in Gingerly, and I've had this since high school. It sounds so gross to say because it's been so long since I was in high school, and there's a big dent in this because I've used it so much, but I love this blush. It's so smooth and buildable. I love the color. It's very natural looking on my skin tone. I really like it. I don't want to get rid of it. It's a powder product. It still works. It doesn't have a weird smell. It doesn't have any weird things going on in the formula. I'm going to keep it until I cannot keep it any longer or I hit pan because I love this blush and it's very nostalgic for me and just has some good memories associated with it. So I am going to keep this one. All right, so next up is Hourglass. This is an ambient lighting blush. I got this in a BoxyCharm. This is in shade Dim Infusion. I really like this. I do. Hourglass's products are beautiful. I will say that this shade looks like there's barely anything on my skin, but I actually use this just to set creams because it doesn't take away from the pigmentation of the cream blush, but it also adds that same kind of like airbrushed effect that the Hourglass powders add. So it's a great blush topper, and I did get it in a BoxyCharm, so I'm gonna keep it for a little while longer, but I would not recommend this just on its own. It's just way too light, even for me, and I'm a ghost. So just keep that in mind. I would not pay full price for this, especially this shade, but I'm definitely keeping it for now. This one is not going anywhere, and for reasons that you might not expect, but this is from Chanel. This is their Jouer Contrast blush, and this is in shade Quintessence. Interesting shade name. But this is my grandmother's, or was my grandmother's blush. This is one of the last ones she had. She was someone who just repeatedly bought the same thing over and over and over again. She was brand loyal. She was product loyal. I have another compact of this that's panned completely because she used it so much. It has so many memories associated with this. And my grandmother was a big reason why I got into makeup in the first place. And I love that. And I love that when I see this, I'm reminded of her, and I can actually still use this because the powder formula is still good. And she was able to use this as well. This was hers. So I like that it reminds me of my grandmother. I will say it's not the most pigmented blush in the world, but it's still a beautiful color. And I actually do enjoy the formula. Would I have bought this expensive of a blush just because? Probably not. I'm just gonna say that. But it's hers, and I'm loyal to that because she was loyal to that. So I'm keeping this. This is never leaving. Even when the blush isn't good anymore, I'm just gonna keep it, and it's gonna be there. All right, let's jump into the NARS ones because I have a ton from them. So I actually have 4. I have 1 mini and 3 full-size blushes, and all in different shades. So I know I want to declutter at least 1, potentially 2 of these because I do not need this many. So let's start with the mini. This one is in Orgasm. This is the iconic shade from NARS. And it does have a shimmer to it. It's not matte. It's just not that pigmented. I don't understand. I'm really digging in here. It's pretty. It's more of a blush topper though. So I'm not sure. This one is definitely a candidate for declutter. I feel like it's hard to get my blush brush in here because it's so small. So you know what? I don't know. Let's see. Let's move on and then see how it compares to the others. So this one is in, okay, this is a blush duo in Hot Sand and Orgasm. And I count this as one blush because I use both of these together as a blush. I do not use them separately. This is the shade Orgasm, so obviously I don't need 2. So this is the same shade and size as the mini, just in its own packaging. This one's a lot older as well. So yeah, they are the same Orgasm shade. I'm actually, I don't know. What do I want to do? So that's the highlight, and it's kind of a light pink blush on me. I think I'm gonna get rid of this duo, and I'm gonna keep the deluxe sample to keep the shade Orgasm in my collection because it is that iconic shade. Not because I can't live without it, but because it's iconic. And sometimes in order to do comparisons, I want to keep things like this in my collection. So yeah, and I think this one actually performs better than the one in the duo anyway. All right, and then next up we have the shade Super Orgasm. Funny, why do these shade names have to be like this? I don't know. But as you can see, this one has a ton of glitter. I'm just gonna show you to compare. They really don't look that different. This one just has a lot more glitter, and this one is just more metallic, kind of, yeah, you get the point. This one has visible chunks of glitter in it. And when I put it on my cheek, I don't necessarily see all that glitter because it does tap off the brush. But when I swatch it, see how it did pick up some of those chunks? I wish it didn't have the chunks of glitter in it. I love glitter, but I don't need that really. I don't know. It looks exactly like the Orgasm blush, just with chunks of glitter. I don't know. I don't know if I should keep this or not. It basically ends up looking the same on the cheek as the Orgasm blush, so I feel weird keeping both. But you know what? I might keep it for now because I actually do use this one way more than just the regular mini. So let's just move on for now. Okay, this one is in shade Angelica, and I love this shade. This shade actually is what I would say is probably the closest thing I have to the Dior blush shade that everyone is raving about. It is this bright poppy pink, like a very cool toned bright pink. So I'm 100% keeping this one. I use this one all the time. I feel like this looks beautiful on my skin tone. So Angelica is a keep. Now, do I want to keep Orgasm or Super Orgasm? But I'm going to keep both of the big ones, and I'm going to keep this one for now. So I'm going to keep all three for now. But if I do not pick this up and I do not use it, this is going to be decluttered in my next round. So hold on tight. But this one's never going. Angelica is my favorite out of the three, so I'm definitely keeping that one. But these two, you don't need both. Just saying, you don't need both. And if you don't like chunky glitter, I would go with Orgasm over the Super Orgasm shade. I got it at TJ Maxx, so the price doesn't bother me as much because I got it for really, really cheap. But do not pay full price for that. It's just, there's so many blushes in my collection I like better. All right. Speaking of, I have Charlotte Tilbury. This is my all-time favorite blush. That's a powder and will never leave my collection. This is the Cheek to Chic Pillow Talk blush. Here's what she looks like on the inside. I love the outer rim and then the little pop of bright in the center. It's kind of like a blush duo all in one. It's right here. It looks very subtle on my hand, but on the cheeks, this is so buildable and beautiful. Ugh, it looks so natural on my skin. I love that little, you can kind of go around the outside to be a little bit more matte and then have that pop of shimmer in the center if you want to brighten it up. But I usually just swirl my brush all over it and apply it. Long lasting. This is my most long wearing powder blush that I own. I love this. I love the shade. I love everything about it. I love it. I'm keeping it. So I'm gonna get into the duos now. I know that I had one that was NARS that was a duo as well, but I wanted to keep those together so we could compare. Now I have some powder blush duos and palettes that I want to talk about before we get into cream products. So number one, we have Jouer. This is a blush bouquet. As you can see, this is my preferred shade. I love it. It's gotten really dry, but it's still a great formula. So I think this has a little bit more life left in it. But as you can see, they look very similar on the skin. This one's just a hair lighter and this one's a little bit deeper. But I like having both options, and this is the only product I own from Jouer. So I'm keeping this. This is from Tom Ford. Ask me why I have this. Well, I got this on a big sale. I would not have paid full price for it, and I don't think you should either. But the pigmentation is beautiful. I will say, I love it. It's got this like peachy pink blush and then a highlighter. I am absolutely keeping this. The formula is really good. I will say, I like the formula a lot. But would I recommend you pay full price for this? 1000% no. Do not pay full price for this. But if you get it on sale, the packaging is beautiful and the product actually does perform very nicely. And the highlighter is, I use it more of a blush topper, but it does have a nice shine to it. So keeping. All right, this one I got in a BoxyCharm. This one's from Kosas, and this is in Longitude 0. Do I want to keep this? I've gotten a lot of use out of this, but I just tend not to reach for it anymore, and I don't know why. It's a very long-lasting blush. I'll give them that. I don't know. Oh, I might have to. That's a nice, different blush color that's not in my collection, really. That deep berry. Maybe that's why I don't reach for it, because it's not that bright pink. But I think I need to keep that because I don't have a lot in my collection that looks like that. And I feel like I would regret it if I don't. There may come a time when I want that berry toned, especially for the winter. I feel like I reach for this in the winter a lot, and then summer rolls around and I kind of forget about it. This is like a maybe. I could go either way. You know what? I'm going to declutter this only because I can't use this other shade. It looks a little muddy on me, so I would only be using that berry shade. And I don't need it. I want to keep makeup so I have a collection, but I just don't want to keep things that I don't need and don't reach for. So yeah, that one's gone. And it may be that when I go through my collection and what I keep, I may end up decluttering some. I don't know. It's kind of a work in progress, but let's just move on for now. Now we're going to get into the palettes and other duos, but mostly just palettes. So this one's from Kaleidos. This is their Lo-Fi Duo Blusher in the shade Rose, Lo-Fi Rose. It has the little protector in there. I am in love with this. This is going absolutely nowhere. I love Kaleidos' products. They're so pigmented. They're just beautiful on the skin. Look at that. I mean, it feels like silk. And it has this beautiful duochromy blush topper in here that I can use as a highlighter as well. Tell me you've seen anything like that before in a blush, just please. This is just so beautiful and pigmented, and it goes from like a creamy gold to a bright fuchsia pink. Hopefully that's actually picking up on screen. I think it is, but that is the coolest shift I have in a blush, so 100% keeping. I also love Kaleidos' products in general, and there's very few things from them that I think I would ever declutter, but packaging too is absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, keeping. All right, you know what? I've already changed my mind about these two NARS ones. This is Super Orgasm and Orgasm. I'm going to keep the mini of Orgasm, and I'm going to declutter the Super Orgasm. I just feel like these chunks of glitter, it deters me from using the product because I have to knock off the brush and actually make it work for me. I got this at TJ Maxx for like $7, so it's not financially hurting me to declutter it, and I got this one for free. So it doesn't hurt me in any way. I'm just gonna declutter this. And I'm gonna keep this one just in case I ever want to use it. All right, let's continue on. Another one from NARS. This one I got from TJ Maxx as well. This is the Narcissist palette. It's the Wanted 2 cheek palette. And there are 6 shades in here. There's one highlight / blush topper, depending on your skin tone. So I am gonna swatch these shades for you. This one is a highlighter / blush topper. For me, it's more of a blush topper because this would leave a cast on my skin because it's a little too deep for me. But we have a warm toned peach in here. We have a deeper blush here that's really pretty. A red toned kind of blush. That's, oh my gosh, I forgot how pretty these were. And then a berry. Okay, yeah, I definitely was making the right decision in decluttering the Kosas one because I actually do have a berry toned blush in my collection right there. And then this light pink. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna keep this just because it makes it really easy to grab something different if it's in a palette, because I don't like keeping singles of shades that I don't reach for every day. Having these bright pops of color in here actually are good because if I really, really want to dip into something that I don't normally do, or I'm doing a different kind of look, this is what I can reach for. So I'm gonna keep this, and that makes me feel a lot better about decluttering the other ones. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this. I also got it for super cheap at Marshall's or TJ Maxx, so woo. This is from Alamar Cosmetics. This is a colorette blush trio, and this is their peachier toned one. It's in Fair Light. So I mainly ever only reach for Pariso. I don't really reach for Castaway or Scorcher ever because these bright peachy tones and orangey tones are not working for my skin tone. They're very yellow pulling on me, so I don't always reach for that. The formula is beautiful. I love this formula. I feel like if they made different shades, like this pink one is the reason that I would keep it, but do I really need to keep the whole palette for just one shade? That's the problem that I'm kind of facing right now, because I never touch these two. So here's what they look like, but see how on my skin tone, they just pull really, really yellow, and I just am not a fan of that. So I think I'm gonna have to declutter this. I got this in a BoxyCharm. I feel bad because I only have a couple products from Alamar Cosmetics, but I feel like I don't want to keep it if I'm not actually using it. The packaging's beautiful. I love the formula. I just wish that the shades were a little bit different. But yeah, this is gonna get decluttered. This beauty right here is from the Pac-Man collection from Wet n Wild. I love this palette so much. My friend gave me this because she got the whole Pac-Man collection and then just was decluttering some of the stuff that she wasn't using. I reach for this so often. It's very weird. I did not expect to reach into this as often as I do. The only thing that kind of deters me from using this in videos and stuff is because it's a limited edition item. But because Wet n Wild does have blush formulas still all the time, I don't feel that bad because you probably can find something similar to these shades. But this palette in particular is gorgeous. I don't know what's different about it. Maybe it's the subtle shimmer. I don't know. 3 of them have shimmer in them and 1 of them is a matte. And that's the perfect ratio for me because if I want a matte, I can reach for it. And it's kind of almost a bronzing shade, which I like a lot. At least for my skin tone, it's kind of a peachy nude. And then the other ones are a little bit more pop of pink, peach, and brown. So I can kind of make it lean in either direction. I love this. I love the imprints of it. I love Pac-Man. And I just think that this formula is so good. Especially from a drugstore brand. I don't have a lot of drugstore blush palettes that work like this. So, I mean, look at that shimmer. I love it. And this one's more of just a sheen, not a glitter. So if I want to go more nude, that's the one I'm using. But, oh my gosh, they're just so pretty. I love that there's a variety of shades in here. I don't know how it would work for other skin tones. It's a very buildable blush, but these shades in particular are a little bit light leaning. But I think, I don't know, you might be able to build them up for other skin tones as well, especially kind of tan skin tones. I don't know about the deepest of dark. I think this shade would look beautiful on deep skin tones, but these might show up as a little chalky. I'm not the expert in that, but definitely let me know about that because I'm trying to educate myself more on deeper skin tones just because I'm so pale that a lot of things that work for me might not work for other people, so I'm trying to be more aware of that. I love this packaging, love Pac-Man, I love the shades. For me, I'm keeping it in my collection. This is the last one that I have that's a blush palette, and this is from Natasha Denona. I got this in a BoxyCharm Premium, I believe, and this is their Bloom palette. So there are 2 cream shades in here and 2 highlighty kind of blush toppery shades. So the creams for the longest time I never touched. I like how there's a window in here that keeps the powder from getting into the creams. That was a really smart move on their part. But for the longest time I never touched the creams because I was kind of scared of them. And now cream blush is in. Cream blush is here and she's just not playing. But these topper shades are so pigmented. This one right here I can kind of use as a highlight if I want to. This one's more of a blush topper, but I use mainly those for blush toppers. Oh my gosh, the pigment. Look at those. So beautiful, so glittery. I am in love with those. And then the creams. So here is the pinky shade. It kind of, I don't know, it's a little on the lighter side, but it has got this sheen to it that's really lifelike and beautiful. I don't know if it's reading on camera or not. It's just so pretty. Ugh. And then this one is way pigmented. Like, this is the most pigmented cream blush that I think I own. And it's the deepest. But look at that. So gorgeous. Has a beautiful sheen to it. Yeah. 10 out of 10. Keeping this palette. This is definitely going to be something I reach for now that it's summertime. So beautiful. All right, and that is a good segue to go into the cream blushes. So let's start out with the drugstore options because I think I don't have that many that are not drugstore. Wow, that's really weird that almost all of mine cream blushes are from the drugstore. Weird. Okay, so starting off with the ones that everyone knows. These are the e.l.f. Putty Blushes, and I have shade Bora Bora, which is this pink one, and Bali, which is this kind of rusty red color. These are absolutely stunning. Let me just, hold on. All right, so I had to clean off my hand so that we could do some swatches of these cream products for us. And here is the shade Bali, and here is the shade Bora Bora. Bora Bora is definitely my most used, as you can see by the dip in here, but I actually use both of them a ton. So I think the easiest way to do this is just to take my nail and kind of scrape off a little bit. You don't need much to show the shade, but they are intensely pigmented. I mean, look at that. For a light pink, that is bright, but it diffuses so nicely and just blends into the skin beautifully. And then here is the shade Bali. I mean, see, just that little bit on my hand is intense. It's gorgeous. I mean, I did not think that I was gonna love that shade, but I absolutely do. I just got a new shade of this, by the way. I think it's in shade Tahiti. It's a little bit on the peachier side, but I didn't want to include it in here because I haven't actually used it yet. So that one's obviously not being decluttered because it's brand new. But these are absolutely not being decluttered either because I think this is one of my absolute favorite blush formulas of all time. Not just cream, but in general, just one of my favorite formulas. So these are not going anywhere. One that I don't know if it's really drugstore or not, to be 100% honest. I got this in a Pout box. Pout box does not exist any longer. It was a subscription box, but just for lip products. But this one actually came in that box, and it's a lip and cheek tint, but it's a cream product. I tried this on my cheeks, and it wasn't my ultimate fave. I found it to be a little bit sticky. This is from a brand called Half Caked, I believe. Yeah, Half Caked. And this is their candy paint in the shade Club Paradise. And it's a cheek and lip tint. It looks okay, but it's not my favorite. It's a little on the sticky side. What I love about the putty blushes is it's not sticky at all. But this one does not dry down the same way. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this. It's really sad to say because the packaging is really cute. And it's the only thing I have from the brand, but it's just not my favorite. So time to declutter. Next up is from ColourPop. And this is a beautiful blush. This one I also got for free from a friend. She was just decluttering some stuff and I jumped in to grab some because she knew that I have an addiction to makeup. So this is a ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in the shade Drop of a Hat. And it is their Super Shock Cheek Blush. And this is a shimmery shade. Look at that. It almost looks like a more pigmented version of NARS Orgasm and in a cream form. So I'm 100% keeping this. So yeah, I love ColourPop's Super Shock formula. I feel like it's really, really good, especially for the price. So yeah, I am keeping her. All right, this one, I'm not sure if it's a drugstore brand or not, but I'm just gonna do this now because I know what I want to do with it. So this is from a brand called Trustique. I get this in subscription boxes all the time, so I don't know what the price point on this is, but I do not like this very much at all. This is a cream blush, and I just find you can already see it patching up on my skin, and it's really hard to blend. I just don't get the right, I don't know, it's not my favorite formula at all. And this is in the shade Moroccan Rose, and this is a mini size, so it is a nice kind of travel thing. But I feel like if you're traveling with this, how much area do you think you're gonna get with this little circle on your cheek? Like, it's gonna take you forever. I know I usually apply creams to my hand first and then onto my cheeks, but you need a lot of product, and this is not a lot of product. So I'm gonna declutter this. Let's talk about the Flower Beauty Blush Balm real quick. This, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm gonna be quite honest. It's kind of a serum type blush. They call it Color Drops for cheek. I think I might have to keep it and just keep trying with it. And maybe I wasn't applying it correctly. It just seems like, I don't know, it's really, really pigmented. As you can see, a little went a long way, but it almost just doesn't dry down at all and leaves a kind of stick. So, I think what I'm gonna have to do, yeah, see how much pigment there is? I mean, it's crazy. But I think I'm gonna have to keep it just to keep trying it, because I'm not 100% sure if I like this yet. I really am not. But it's one of the few products I have from Flower Beauty, so I do want to try it out. So this is a keep for now. All right, next up we have the Pixie Blush Sticks. I got these in PR and I'm so unbelievably happy that I did, because I am in love with this formula. This is like a more hydrating version of the e.l.f. Putty blushes. These are incredibly pigmented and they just are so dewy on your skin, and I love that, especially for summer. I'm gonna try to swatch these as best as I can over here. Here's the red one. Absolutely gorgeous. They blend out beautifully, so they're not overly crazily pigmented that you can't build them or blend them. They're so smooth, they're so hydrating, they blend like a dream. Here, okay, so that was in the shade Ruby, the red one, obviously. And then this is in the shade Juicy, which is a bright orange, but on the skin, I can blend it out very nicely. I've actually worn this before, and it doesn't look crazy on my skin, which I like in an orange kind of blush, because sometimes that scares me. And then, obviously, my most used one is going to be this one, which is Fleur. It is this beautiful light pink, very similar to Bora Bora, but a little bit on the lighter side. Kind of more similar to the Flower Beauty one, which, by the way, I forgot to say the shade name. This is in Bubbly. Oops. I'm so good at this, guys. But here is Fleur. I've actually taken the top off of it because I use it so often. I mean, but look at her. She's almost identical to Bora Bora, kind of like if these two had a baby. So pretty. I love this formula. All three of these are gorgeous and they're not going anywhere. I'm not decluttering them. If I were to be forced to declutter one of them, I think I would go with Juicy, just because of the shade. It's the one that I use least, but I love the formula of these so much that I actually mix them together and kind of create custom shades. And these are just absolutely perfect for me and my skin. So I am keeping all three of these. We are down to the last three products. Absolutely crazy. Last three. I'm gonna put all of them on screen because I'm gonna declutter one of them and then keep the other two. That's just gonna be how it is. So I have from Makeup by Mario, this is the Dusty Rose Blush Stick. I also have the Wander Beauty. This is a duo. It's a double date lip and cheek duo, and it has a cream blush on top. And then Tower 28, this is in the shade, this is the Tower 28 Beach Please blush in Power Hour. These are my last three blush products, and I already know which one I want to declutter. You can probably guess which one I'm going to declutter, but I'll swatch them all anyway. So, starting off with the Makeup by Mario stick, of course this is very recent. So this is Dusty Rose. It comes with a brush on one side that you can actually pop off for cleaning, which I really do like. That was a smart move on Mario's part to include, because I don't really use the blush for application, but I like it. I like that it's included, because I know some people do use the blush or do the brush, but the product is what I'm here for. This shade is my absolute perfect blush shade. It's earthy, it's pink, it's mauve-y, it's gorgeous. I mean, look at that. She's gorgeous, she's dewy. As you can tell, this is going absolutely nowhere in my collection, but wow, look at that. I mean, it's a beautiful formula. It lasts all day. The color is perfect for me. So pretty. This one is in shade Double Date. So you get a duo here. The top has the colorful side, which is kind of like a nudie pink color, which is actually really pretty. And then you get, oh my gosh, this can be really hard to open sometimes, which is something I don't like about it. Then you get this clear balm on the bottom. So obviously I don't think I need to swatch the clear balm because it's clear, but let's swatch this top part, which is actually stunning. It's beautiful. I really do enjoy that. It's a beautiful peachy color. So it's right here. This beautiful peachy nude color. Really gorgeous shade. I really like that. And then Tower 28. This one is in Power Hour, and this is also kind of a deeper blush, but very pigmented, but it blends out really nicely. So yeah, very pigmented. It's kind of like if this was a little bit more brown, but it's actually kind of a unique shade in my collection that I don't have a lot of. So, drum roll please, I'm going to declutter the Wander Beauty one. This one is just, like I said about the other one that I was decluttering, it's just kind of sticky. Like the half-caked one that I decluttered, it doesn't fully dry down. I don't love that about it. It's just always sticky, and I don't want that, because if I go in to set it with powder later, sometimes it acted weird with that. And I don't ever touch the clear balm on the bottom. On the lips, it was okay, but it kind of dried out my lips a little bit. So this one I got in a BoxyCharm. I did not pick this myself. This is going to be decluttered. Obviously, these two are being kept in the collection. They're also some of the most recent blushes in my collection as well, so that's kind of fitting. This shade is deep, but it's beautifully blendable. I love the shade on me. It's really pretty, and it does not leave that same stickiness. And this one is probably a contender for one of my favorite blushes of all time. I really, really love this. The shade is perfect for me. I actually would love more shades of it. I am very impressed with this formula. This is one of my first products from Makeup by Mario, and so far I'm very, very, very happy with the quality. All right, so both of these are keep. All right, so that was my blush declutter and collection video. So I think I did okay. I could have done better, but I'm trying not to be so hard on myself in these, but definitely I have a few in mind that if I do not reach for them over the course of the next, I don't know, 6 months, I am going to declutter them. But yeah, for the most part, I'm very happy with my collection and how I curated it now. I feel like I'm going to be using a ton of these. Now, there are obviously ones that I will reach for more than others, especially the cream formula is very in right now. I am just a cream blush fanatic at the moment, so not to say that I don't use my powder blushes anymore, but mostly I use them on top of cream blushes to kind of set them into place. So in the winter time, I will use more of the powder blushes just on their own, but it's summer months right now, so I'm gonna enjoy the cream blush time while it's here in the warm weather. It's just perfect for that. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe. If you want to see more content from me, please let me know what category you'd like to see next. I promise guys, I am working on getting the eyeshadow palette declutter video. I have so many palettes, it takes forever, and it's just taking a long time to get the footage and to edit. It's hard for me to sit down and do it all at once. So that one is coming soon. But if you have any other category that you'd like to see, I've already done my highlighters, but I can definitely do some lip products. I can do some bronzers or foundations, concealers, setting powders, whatever you want. Just let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're having an amazing day or night wherever you are. Please do continue to stay happy, healthy, and safe in this crazy time. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.